And the whole night we heard a lot of shootings. We don't have any guns. The internet is not working. Like the buildings are still burning. Access our apartment. Police stopped us, and that's just... Hi guys, my name is Salta, and on this channel I share a lot of information about Kazakhstan, and this is gonna be the update of what happened in Kazakhstan with the riots and political situation. I honestly don't want to get too much involved into politics. I don't know what's happening. We didn't have internet for 5 days, but I've been recording for a little bit what was happening because I do live right next to the square, the main square of the city where everything happened.
Голубое топливо подорожало до 120 тенге за литр и проходы к площади Республики. С самого дня сторонники...
It started on January 4th. We were sitting at a cafe, and then it actually usually is open till like 2 a.m. but they were telling us to leave it at about 11 because they saw a lot of the riots. Well, people were protesting, and they were like, and that was happening for a few days already, but it wasn't happening in Almaty particularly because it started in the west, in the western cities like Aktau, Atarau, Zhanaozen. Basically, Zhanaozen started it, and they started it because the gas prices, it's like the cheapest type of fuel for their cars, and a lot of cars use that as a fuel basically instead of the regular fuel that we buy. So it used to be 50 tenge, and then suddenly it became like 100 tenge or something like that. So it did grow almost like twice overnight, and like since the new year, and a lot of the people cannot afford that type of prices because that also has its effect on like the prices of goods, of like food and everything. So everything becomes more and more expensive because of the inflation, because of the, I don't know, just like the market and people, but the salaries are not growing. So people were actually protesting, and they were actually doing it in a very peaceful way. It started there, and then a few days later every city started joining that protest, and everybody started coming on like main squares. And by January 4th it started in Almaty, and they were walking through like the whole city, and by midnight they actually came to the main square. So we were leaving the cafe, and they were telling us to leave basically, and I just arrived to my apartment, and half an hour later I see like the explosions on the square, and I'm like, what the heck is happening? And we didn't realize that it's gonna escalate that big, and it's gonna be that huge of a tragedy. But so that night we started hearing a lot of the bombings. So those little like tear and gas grenades started blowing up every 5 minutes on the square. Basically it escalated from there. People started to be more aggressive, they started to fight, they started burning everything. I don't know what happened, but like I was like actually sitting there from my window, and I saw like bombings, and then once like a few hours later I saw like things burning. And so from there, hi guys, it's January 5th, and there are riots and protests in Kazakhstan, and the western side started to protest, and then all of the cities joined in Kazakhstan, and now like they just like took over the administration buildings. Like there's like people shootings. It's just basically a war outside, and we're a bit scared. It started last night, and the whole night we heard a lot of shootings, a lot of bombing. Today we just woke up and never left the apartment. So I didn't have that much stuff to eat. We got some stuff at the store nearby. Now I'm cooking some potatoes, which is like a signature dish in Kazakhstan when you don't have many products. So I don't know what I'm doing here, but hopefully it's gonna turn out well. So basically I could see everything from my window, how like the administration was burning, and people were running around, and like the police would stop everybody, and I would have some footage of what happened. Капец, там разгорелось. The good thing, we came back home at 11 p.m. last night, and right when we came, we couldn't actually access our apartment easily. We had to go around and like find a small street to access it. So I parked outside and we came in, and like an hour later, all of that like protests and riots started right next to my house, basically on the main square, and that was pretty scary. I couldn't sleep. I heard all the bombing, and I believe that was just like the gas, but then the people started burning policemen's cars, they started burning the administration buildings. So basically when the government met the things that were asked from the citizens were not satisfied. They were like, we're gonna keep protesting, and now it's like it got out of hand, and so I'm not sure what's gonna happen. We're all locked in our apartments. We don't have any Wi-Fi. We didn't have any social media access from last night, and actually for a few days we didn't have social media, so we could go in with the Wi-Fi, but then the cellular service didn't work. A few hours ago we could access the internet with VPN. Now we're completely out of internet, out of any kind of connection. We can only call someone, and that still kind of has a lot of issues. We have electricity at least, only have some TV channels, but all of the Kazakh channels were shut down. Some of the people actually took over the channels, and yeah, and we're right in the middle of everything happening. And I'll show you out of my window what it looks like once I have any sight, because right now like it's all foggy. I don't know what that fog is. Is it from the bombing, or is it from the actual fog, the weather conditions? But yeah, I'll keep you posted.
Там здесь одно за вот этим зданием горит, 2, 3, вот акимат и еще.
We had about 4 days or 5 days when we couldn't even come out our apartments because it was really dangerous. People were killing, like everybody was like with their guns, everybody was like shooting, like anyone could just like be shot. And a lot of the cases that happened like on January 7th, I heard there is like a couple, an older couple that was just like passing through the street from like their daughter's place, and they were shot. The car just blew up and like was on fire in 5 seconds, and they just like died right there. So and then I heard a story of a 12-year-old boy that was shot amongst that everything was happening, and he was thinking that it was fireworks. But so to be honest, I don't know how many people died, what actually was the situation, who was trying to protest, who was trying to overthrow the government, or was it the plan, or was it just like random? On January 4th we had internet for a little bit, and then we started watching people were going live on Instagram, and so we were watching that, what was happening on the square, and we would just see like bombings and shootings and people running around like and then January 5th we didn't have internet already, and we were only using VPN. So it's 3 a.m. in the morning, January 6th, and we're still not sleeping because it's not really quiet outside, and we are not sure, like every minute we're learning about news, what's happening in the city. It's actually pretty scary. From 11 p.m. They brought a lot of military from foreign military from Russia and other countries, and so nobody's going out, but who is outside. They're actually protesting, and they're not scared of being shot, and that's really scary actually. So we are still locked inside our apartment. This is the second day we're inside. We already made another meal, which is a ramen. It's pretty hectic here. We're talking to our friends and relatives. Everybody's asking how things are here because we're in the epicenter of everything happening. But because we're pretty high in the building, it's pretty safe. It looks like it's safe. I don't know. We'll see what's gonna happen in the morning because things are crazy going on in the city. At some point, a lot of the people, we don't know if those were protesters, if they were just like criminals, whoever that was, a lot of the people started going through some kind of places where people lived, started killing some people, and at some point even like my brother had to be on the roof of his building because they were hearing that some people were coming to their building and were trying to kill people or, you know, burglarize them. And then like every morning we would call each other and like ask if everyone's all right, if everyone's safe. And you know, we were thinking with my friend, like, what if they break into our building? What are we gonna do? Should we stay in like higher floor or middle floor, or do we have any guns? We don't have any guns. We have like knives, like kitchen knives. Hi guys. So it's January 6th. It's about 4 p.m. I woke up a few hours ago and I couldn't see anything through the window. The internet is not working. And then I turned on the TV. Some channels are working, but they're not really saying much. My brother was calling me to see how I was doing, and everybody's fine. I'm fine. He's okay. He said like some people are still protesting outside. Like the buildings are still burning on the square, on the main square. Apparently people are running out of cash because none of the banks are working now. Everybody's lined up at the ATM machines, but they don't have any money. So he was like, do you have cash? Where's your car? Like, we need to repark my car because it's kind of like dangerous just to keep it outside. I'm sure nothing happened, but right now a lot of people just started crashing everything on their way. They're crashing like businesses, like stores, you know, clothing stores, cafes, everything. They just like crashed everything the night before and last night probably. So people are just stealing a lot of stuff from like the big shopping malls and all of that. So because I'm so high and because the building is pretty secure, it doesn't feel like I'm in the middle of things. So I don't know, and we don't know how much longer we're gonna be stuck in our apartments. Kind of worried that I might run out of food. I did buy some rice, you know, some eggs. Right now I just had a banana and I'm gonna make some coffee. Yeah, I don't know, it sounded like it would be a very scary night, like I couldn't fall asleep. I started worrying about my car outside, and in general it just like wasn't very quiet last night. I have a few channels that are actually working and that's a relief. Yeah, that's just... So here's how my window looks right now. You might notice that I can't see anything right outside my window. It's like a smog. Well, it did clear out a little bit, but in general this is the situation. Like, you can't see anything besides that, you know, construction machine. Here again, can't see much. It's pretty foggy. Good thing we had a little store downstairs on the first floor, so we would buy some groceries there, some, you know, bread, water and things like that, but everything was running out. My brother brought me some food. So cute. People started to panic and they were starting to like buy everything out from the grocery store, and so for like the second or third day they didn't have like any bread, they didn't have any dairy products, they didn't have like many of those products. So I started, like, we couldn't order anything for food, we were starting to cook, and then like day 3 or 4 it started to be a little more quiet, but still we were hearing shootings. well, actually not 3 or 4, like day 5-ish, we were able to come out of our apartments, and my aunt had her birthday, so we would drive there. My brother picked me up and we went to her place to congratulate her. And on our way back, the police stopped us, and they were asking us to like lower the windows to show who's in the car. So and we were announced that on day 3, I believe, that we had some kind of military groups that arrived to Kazakhstan, and they were trying to clean up the city from criminals and from people who were, stealing everything. So that's what we heard. And actually, the president had a lot of public speeches where he changed the political system a little bit. He changed all of the ministers, and like the prime minister actually left, and then he appointed another one. He appointed a lot of the whole cabinet of the ministries was removed and then appointed again. And so he also did mention that we did have a lot of corruption, and he's gonna deal with it. He's gonna provide more money to the people, to the citizens. He's gonna create some kind of fund. Hi guys, it is 9 p.m. already, and we still don't have any internet connection. Our relatives, if everyone is okay, and my brother came. We did park my car at the inside parking. We heard there's a lot of casualties. The fact that we are a bit locked in and we don't know what's happening, it's kind of annoying, but it also forced us to, I don't know, do things around the house, cook, read, and do some things that we didn't have time to do, basically. And we're actually smoking hookah here because my friend has some hookah. And yeah, right now we're planning to go to my friend's apartment. She's gonna cook some dumplings, and we're gonna keep talking and maybe watching something. Day 5 and 6, we started to come out of our apartments. It started to be a little more safe, and we had the state of emergency announced. Right as soon as everything started, we had the state of emergency, and we had to be home by 11 p.m. and only come out at 7 a.m. So anyone who was outside during the forbidden hours, they could be shot, they could be arrested and things like that. So it was really scary, and obviously a lot of the local small businesses suffered from this. A lot of the bigger shopping malls also suffered from that. The administration buildings were burned. A lot of the police cars were burned. A lot of people died, to be honest, and it's pretty sad. It's the biggest tragedy that we had for the past 30 days. We never had something like that. 30 days, 30 years. Last time we had some kind of big protest was in 1986, when we were still in the USSR, but this type of scale of riots and protests never happened in Kazakhstan. And the only thing that I was thinking about is that what I share on this channel is that it's very safe to come here, it's very safe to travel, it's very cheap, you can do business, we're very hospitable, and you can come visit, you can have you can ski here, you can do so many things here, and people are welcoming. So I still just wanted to ensure that things are getting back to normal right away. So day 6 or 7, we were already coming out of our apartments. We started going to cafes, going back to breakfast places. Yesterday I had my dentist appointment. So the sad thing about the whole situation for me personally is that I don't want you to think that we are some kind of unstable country. We did have, any country has those type of riots, the US had some type of riots at the beginning of 2021. We are a developing country, things are changing, things are stabilizing also, but it still doesn't characterize the majority of people, because the majority of people, right after they had the opportunity to help, they were starting to collect the money for charity, they started to clean the streets, they were helping the local businesses, they were feeding people who were outside, like as like a lot of the doctors were working like 24/7, so they were feeding them. So a lot of like people actually got unified, and even like in my own building we had a lot of neighbors. We're not really friendly small talk people. We would, once we are friends, as I said in many of my videos, we would just like be next to you all the time. We would help you with anything. But you know, at the point when we don't know someone, we're just like, we don't even talk to them, we don't even say hi. So my neighbors were like, oh my god, like how are you feeling, where are you going, like do you need any help? They were all very welcoming, very nice. We were kind of like evaluating everything and reevaluating our beliefs and everything. And so I just wanted to say that, you know, we like got back to normal pretty fast, to be honest. Things are open and operating and everything is getting back to normal. People are working, people are running their businesses, people are helping each other. So things are pretty good at this point. They're actually like normal at this point. I know it was scary, I know it was difficult, and I was scared as hell. I didn't know like if we, like I was, for the most part I was calm, because I kind of believed that nothing too bad is gonna happen, but still like it was pretty sad. It is a huge tragedy that we went through, and it was kind of a detox from everything. I just wanted to thank all of you who were messaging me on Instagram and on YouTube, and you were leaving me comments asking me how things were going, if I was safe. Thank you so much. I appreciate that you were actually worried about me, and I was safe, and I was always checking. Actually, my relatives out of the country, they couldn't reach me. They were really worried about me. Thank you so much, and thank you so much for being interested in Kazakhstan. I do encourage you to still consider visiting, coming here for work, you know, just like traveling here, and I'm sure you're gonna like it, and I'm hoping that it's gonna be safe and stable, and it's actually developing and growing pretty fast. So I hope that this is gonna be the worst that we went through, and there's only like good things ahead of us, and we have a bright future. We have a lot of exciting things happening to the country, and I hope you guys all come visit. And yeah, thank you so much. If you have any questions, comment down below. I hope I did cover everything that you had your questions about. And yeah, don't forget to like and subscribe, and I'll see you in my other one. Bye guys.